Hello, I'm Giselle Gamby, host of the Intuitive Pool podcast and business and life coach. My coaching business has consistently brought in $500,000 in revenue for the past 10 years, not from any external strategy, but from being the intuitive entrepreneur. Having worked strategy first, as most people do, with little results, I know that authenticity is profitable, and the deeper you go, the greater your wealth always. And so this podcast is here for you if you desire more, deserve more, and are called into more in relation to your wellness and purpose, business and career, finances, relationships, and health. If you're stuck, feel like you've lost your mojo, and equally if you're doing really well, but you know that you and your life could be so much bigger, so much more purposeful, and so much more impactful. Join myself and my guests as we explore 2024's theme, Untapped Abundance. I love creating ripples, and so here's to creating even more ripples this year for this wonderful intuitive pool community. Hello, intuitive pool community. This episode is one that I just have to record today. Was not expecting to, as most of my episodes unfold, but there's something really special and very particular that I want to speak to today. But first of all, I'm going to do something a little bit different. I received this message about an hour ago from a very, very dear friend, peer, and client. And I've listened to it a few times. It makes me smile, it makes me laugh, and it's going to inject the fuel that is the reason why I am recording this episode today. So one moment, please, as I put this message on. And of course, I've had permission from her.
Hey, lovely. I just wanted to share something with you. I don't know if you're feeling the same, but I feel like I'm a kid at Christmas, right? Like, I feel so excited that it's like, this sounds so stupid, but it's like all gloves off, all pretenses down. Like, I'm just going to be me and say what is, like, it just feels like it's so fucking important right now that each of us just stands in what we know and what we're here to bring, and what we know might be different tomorrow, but who gives a shit? Like, it just feels fucking awesome. Like, I do not have to please anybody. What fucking freedom is that? Like, isn't that just extraordinary that we get to just bring who we are, and that's of immense value, and it's pretty exciting. I feel excited. I feel like a kid at Christmas. It's like, oh, finally, I can just be me. I don't have to fall into any NVC. I don't have to fall into any what's acceptable. I don't have to do marketing in marketing fucked up ways. I just can be me and share what is important for me to share, and know it's of fucking immense value, and it's exciting. Anyway, I just want to share my little, like, ooh, it's Christmas with you. All right, my love. Big hugs.
So that's the energy that I want to share with you today. But I'm going to give it some framing. So this is season 3 of the Intuitive Pool podcast. And I entitled this season, which began at the beginning of the year, Untapped Abundance. Now, the reason why I have themed this season Untapped Abundance is because I'm talking about the untapped abundance of who we already are and the untapped abundance of our becoming. And the reason why I'm talking about that is because what has been in play, certainly from November 2022 to now, is I have been the recipient, the observer, and the facilitator for other people of a really big shift in identity. So I'm not just talking about, a little bit of a shift here and a little bit of a shift there. I'm talking about, somebody said to me yesterday, this is like one of those massive paradigm shifts in identity. So all the episodes this year have been in service to this, and absolutely the episodes from November 2022 have also been in service to this. So I just want to speak about a few things in the spirit of the time when we have that massive shift in identity. So there's one very particular state of being and decision that exists and is the precursor to what you just heard. And it's the moment when you know you are done. You are so finished. You are done like a dog's dinner. You just cannot continue experiencing whatever it is that you've been experiencing as part of your former identity. You know that moment when you just put your hands in the air and you are done. I want to say that energy is in my world, in my own personal being. It's all around me at the moment. And you're listening or watching this podcast, and I would pretty much bet that either you're done, finished, no more as well, or it's going to happen. You're going to get to that place. So I want to say, celebrate that moment. Like there is fire in that state of being. There is fire in that decision. And you may even look back at times in your life where you have been in that I'm done, I've finished, no more. And then look what happened afterwards. So what happens afterwards is you enter into the next generation of you. You complete a former identity, and then you enter into the next generation of you. So I'm not going to speak to this on this episode because I've spoken it in depth in previous episodes, but just a quick summary. Once you know you are done, then there are places for you to go to. There's the shadowy parts of yourself for you to go and visit and feel and be with. And runny nose because it was making me shiny-eyed listening to that recording before. And there are going to be caves that you fear to enter. As you've heard on this podcast before, the cave that you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek. So you'll be going into the shadowy parts, you'll be going into caves, you'll become more free. And then what happens is you meet a creative agency like you just heard that you've not met before. Did you hear the freedom in her? And that freedom has lit so much fire in her, and unapologetic leadership, unapologetic success, unapologetic authenticity, unapologetic expression. This is the piece that I want to speak to on this podcast episode, this piece in particular, because this is actually the missing piece. When people have had a massive shift in identity, and then they expect that they're going to have that massive inner shift reflected in their external world, and then that reflection doesn't happen, this is the missing piece. It was my birthday yesterday, 55. Ooh. And I was very pulled to write an article on my Substack blog. So there's a link to that in the show notes. For someone who I'm coaching and who had a massive internal shift and a fortitude, actually, is the word that I am observing with her. She has such a fortitude that, of course, she's bringing that fortitude into her business. And then she said, I was expecting for things to really move. But actually, my business has slowed down. It's because this piece was missing in action. The piece that was just demonstrated in that recording was missing in action. And I'm sharing this because I know it's the missing piece for many people and is the reason why, once that inner shift has happened, that it's not reflected immediately in their external reality. So this is it. If you believe that the way that you had been showing up in your expression, the way that you have been expressing yourself, that was part of the former identity, your former identity, that created all the goodness. If you believe that that's who you are to be only in the next generation of you, you've kind of missed the point. When we are meeting the next generation of ourselves, we are in the process of becoming. We're becoming more. We're becoming fuller. We're becoming deeper. We are becoming even more authentic. And mostly, we are becoming more self-expressed. So if we're believing that the only thing we need to do as we embody the next generation of ourselves is to continue expressing ourselves the way that we had in the former generation of ourselves, we've just put the car in reverse, or at least in neutral. That recording, you could feel the genuine energy of her in her message because she had had enough a while back, absolutely had enough, absolutely could not do some of her business in the way that she was doing it. She absolutely had enough in some of the types of people she was doing business with. She could no longer allow herself to continue dishonoring all the value that she is and all the wisdom that she's amassed over the years with people who don't value it to the depths that she does. She could no longer dishonor herself. And so it was a massive cave that she feared to give up a big part of her business that had created so much goodness for many, many, many people. It was a massive cave that she feared to enter, to give that up and to instead walk into a type of person and a type of conversation and a type of impact that lights her up, as you just heard. It was a massive cave she feared to enter, and she surrendered. She let go. Very, very, very brave. And she said yes from that place of desire and that place of agency and that place of personal responsibility. She said yes. And of course, the new is unfolding in her physical reality. Of course. And why has her external reality had that reflection? Why are there results that have shown themselves here in physical 3D land? Why? because of what you just heard. Because she is so free in her self-expression. And she is expressing herself with much more gusto, much more alignment, much more publicly, much more freely than she ever has before. Now, there's a really important distinction that I want to make here. The general idea that when we have an inner shift and we want to ground that inner shift is that we need to go and do all the things that other people need to go and do. We need to go and have a podcast. We need to have an email list. We need to have funnels. We need to have a new website. We need to have. No, only what you desire and only what you are called into. Only. Authenticity is profitable. She had 2 major inquiries this week. One through her website, doesn't even know where it came from, and another in her network. She hasn't updated her website, although she will. She hadn't done any marketing, although, as you've just heard, she will. She is so free and she has so much fire, the fire of the dragon that I've been talking about on this podcast. And she has so much desire and calling to express herself in ways and also through different forms than she has in the past. And it's that congruence. It's that congruence with all of who she is becoming. That is the energetic alignment that is creating these results in physical 3D land. It is that. So I really hope that this episode has been provocative for you. If you have had a different idea about what you think you need to be and what you think you need to do, and also provocative around the missing piece that as you enter into the next generation of you, this is a process of becoming more. And so therefore, your self-expression wants to become more as well, but more from a place of authenticity, more from a place of freedom, more from a place of desire, and more from a place of calling. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed this. And before I sign out, I want to remind you that we are going to be doing an online event. Jen Mitchell, who is a medium, very corporate chick, and is now, in addition to being the corporate chick, is now, she's come out of the closet basically and has made her secret side a public one now. So I'll be co-hosting this event. She'll be facilitating it online on Zoom on the 5th of June at 6 o'clock Sydney time. The theme of that evening will be leaning into the mystery, and Jen will be doing live readings with people that she's pulled to do them for. So she'll be sensing on Zoom, and also she'll be connecting with people who have passed, and she'll be moved to do a reading, not a reading, she'll be moved to do many readings with the people she feels connected to on this Zoom group session. So you can also guarantee to have a reading if you wish. There's just a little extra fee, and you'd stay for half an hour longer. So the group readings for an hour and a half. And if you absolutely want to have a reading, you would stay for 2 hours and pay a little extra fee. 5th of June, 6 o'clock, Sydney time on Zoom. You can book your tickets in the show notes and then we'll send you the Zoom link. All right. Have a great weekend, everybody. Bye-bye. Hey guys, if you love this podcast, I have 2 requests. Number 1, sign up to the newsletter, which you can find in the show notes. Sharing is one of my superpowers, and there is only so much that I can share through the medium of podcasting. And I have very big plans this year to be radically generous to you. So sign up to that newsletter where you'll be able to receive a whole lot more that I trust will be super valuable to you. And number 2, I'm a massive referrer of the people I love to the people I love. Please share this episode or podcast with the people you love, and let's create some more breathtaking ripples of impact.